In this video, I'm going to show you guys two examples that will require our skills on factoring quadratics to solve the equations. Okay, so let's get started. So on the first one, we have 8x squared minus 5 equals 10x minus 2. And then we need to solve for x. So when we're solving equations, it is always good to have this equals to 0 on the right. And let's try to move everything to the left then. So we have 8x squared minus 5 minus 10x plus 2. Minus 5 plus 2, we can combine them. I get 8x squared minus 10x minus 3 is equal to 0. So the quadratic equation that we have right now, let's hope that they can be factored. Right? Let's try to factor them. So let's try to make them. They are in standard form right now. This is in standard form, and we need to make them into factored form, because once they are in factored form, we can apply the zero product property, right? So let's try that. So 8x squared, so I need to think about it. What times what gives us 8x squared? So maybe 8x times x, so that gives me 8x squared. And so I will get that, there's no problem. What about the minus 3? Let's not worry about the sign first. Let's just take a look at the 3. So what times what gives us 3? I guess maybe 3 and 1. And let's see if this works. So now I'm gonna take out my scrap paper. So let's say this is, let's say this bottom part is my scrap paper. Okay, so I'm gonna do this term by term. 8x times 8x give me 8x squared. 8x times 1 gives me 8x. 8x. 3 times x gives us 3x. And 3 times 1 gives me 3. Okay, so our goal is to get this negative 10x, right? So I have 8x and I have 3x. Can I somehow get the negative 10x from them? That's impossible. Right? I cannot. Which means the way I set it up right now, it doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work. So maybe we need to try something else. So let's try to change the 3 and the 1. Right? Let's try to change the 3 and the 1. So if I have 1 here, 1 there, and 3 over there. Now 1 times 3 gives me the 3, so that's good, right? The 8 times x, the 8x times x gives me the 8x squared, so that's good too. And however, when I have 8x times 3, that's gonna give me 24x, and this is gonna give me x. There is no way that I can get negative 10x from the x and the 24x. So I'm not even gonna bother trying that. In other words, what I have, the way I set it up right now, it still doesn't work. So we have to try other method. So let's maybe the problem is not the 3. Maybe the problem is the 8x and the x. So let's think about it. Now, what else do we multiply so that we can get 8x squared? So let's try with maybe 4x and 2x, maybe. Right, so 4x times 2x gives us 8x squared. So this is good. So I'm going to erase the bottom. So 8x times 2x gives us 8x squared. 4x times 3 gives us 12x. 1 times 2x gives us 2x. And then 1 times 3 gives us 3. Okay, let's see if we can, again, our goal is to get that negative 10x. Right? So negative 10x. Now, if I have this negative 12x plus the 2x, that will give me negative 10x. Right? So I guess that's pretty good. Now, we just have to be careful with the sign. The negative goes to the 12x, and the 12x came from 4x times 3. right? The negative goes to 12x, and the 12x came from the 4x times 3, which means the negative goes to negative 3. Sorry, the negative goes to 3. The positive goes to 2x, the positive goes to 2x, and the 2x came from this 1. So the positive goes to the 1. Okay? So before we continue finding the x or applying the zero product property, let's just double check. Okay, so 4x times 2x gives me 8x squared. That's good. 4x multiplied negative 3 gives me negative 2x. That's good. positive 1 times 2x gives me positive 2x, so that's good. And finally, positive 1 multiplying negative 3 gives me negative 3, which is good because I need a negative 3 there. So it's perfect. Everything is perfect, right? Alright, that means we can continue with solving the equation, and we can actually apply the zero product property now. So 4x plus 1 is equal to 0, or 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So 4x is equal to negative 1, x is equal to negative 1/4. 2x minus 3 equals 0, 2x is equal to 3, x is equal to 3/2. So my x can be either one of those two values, either one of those values. Alright, that's the first example. As you can see, the factoring part, let me highlight it. The factoring part could be a bit tricky. From this step to that step, it can be tricky. Okay. Alright, let's continue. Let's look at the second example. Now, this example is interesting. We don't see any x or any variable with the power of 2, but it is actually there if you expand this. So let's expand everything. Okay, so let's expand everything. So I get x squared plus 10x equal to 4x plus 8. Okay, and again, we're gonna make the right hand side equals to 0. So let's move everything to the left. I'll get x squared plus 10x minus 4x. I will get plus 6x. So I'm gonna skip a few steps here. The positive 8 move to the other side becomes negative 8. Okay, so now this is, again, we're gonna try to convert the quadratic equation into factored form. So I'll have x over there, and we just have to think about how to break down the 8 over here. And then we need to somehow make sure it's a negative 8, right? A negative 8. Okay, so I guess let's try 4 and 2 and see if that works. Alright, so oh, I copied the question wrong. So this is actually not x plus 2, it is actually x minus 2. Sorry, my bad. So now everything has to change. So 4x minus 4x, this is actually minus 8 then, right? This is minus 8. Sorry guys, this is minus 8. And then if I bring this stuff over, this will be plus 8. So, yep, that's it. Now, I need to make sure that when I multiply these two values, I will get a positive 8. Okay, so let's hope we do get that. Let's see. So what do I x times x? So I'm gonna go to my scrap paper now. X times x gives us x squared. X times 2 gives us 2x. 4 times x gives us 4x, and 4 times 2 gives me 8. So far it looks okay. I got the x squared, I got the 8, but I need to be careful with the sign. And in order for me to get a positive 6x, I need to get a positive here, positive there. So positive goes to the 2, and positive goes to the 4. And positive 4 times positive 2, I do get positive 8. So perfect, everything is good. Now I can apply the zero product property. X plus 4 is equal to 0, so x is negative 4. X plus 2 is equal to 0, so x is equal to negative 2. So my x can be those two values. Alright, sorry about the mistake that I made for the second example. Hope you guys find this video helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.